You wake up tomorrow morning, February 14th, 2026, Valentine's Day. You check your phone. Every news channel is screaming the same headline. Government shutdown. DHS closes at midnight. Your heart drops. Your green card interview is scheduled for next week. You've been waiting 18 months. You sold everything back home. Your kids are already enrolled in American schools. And now this. You open your USCIS account. Is your case frozen? Will they cancel your appointment? Your hands are shaking as you Google, will immigration stop during shutdown? The first three articles say different things. One says maybe, one says partially, one says call your lawyer. You don't have $1,500 for a lawyer. Here's what happens next for most immigrants. They panic. They assume the worst. They miss critical deadlines because they think the system is closed. They make mistakes that cost them their cases. But you're going to know exactly what happens when the government shuts down tomorrow at midnight. And more importantly, you're going to know the one mistake that could destroy your case, even while USCIS stays open. Because here's the truth, nobody's telling you. This shutdown doesn't work the way you think it does. Let me be very clear about what's happening right now. Today is February 12th, 2026. The United States Congress is 48 hours away from a partial government shutdown. But this isn't a normal shutdown. Most of the federal government already funded. They passed a big spending bill back in September that funds most agencies until September 30th, 2026. But there's one giant agency they left out, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. Why political warfare? There's a massive fight happening in Congress right now about ICE accountability. After some incidents in Minnesota involving ICE enforcement, one party is demanding body cameras and new oversight rules for immigration agents. The other party is saying absolutely not. They've been fighting about this for weeks, and they attach this fight to the DHS funding bill. Result: tomorrow at midnight, February 13th, turns into February 14th and DHS funding expires. Now, here's where most people make their first mistake. They hear DHS shutdown and immediately think immigration stops. USCIS closes, my case is dead. Wrong, and this wrong assumption is about to become a trap. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria had her green card interview scheduled for February 18th, 2026, 5 days after the shutdown deadline. She's been waiting 2 years for this interview. Her marriage-based green card, everything is perfect, clean case, good marriage, all documents ready. Then she hears about the shutdown on the news. She panics. She goes on Facebook groups. People are saying government shutdown means all immigration stops. Someone posts, "My friend's case was delayed 6 months during the last shutdown." Maria makes a decision. She's going to reschedule her interview for after the shutdown ends. Better safe than sorry, right? She calls USCIS. She explains she wants to reschedule because of the shutdown. The officer on the phone says, "Ma'am, we're still operating, but if you want to reschedule, you'll need to submit a request." Maria submits the request. 3 weeks later, she gets a letter. Failure to appear at scheduled interview. Case denied. Wait, what? Here's what happened. USCIS never closed. Her interview was still scheduled. By requesting to reschedule without a valid emergency, she technically abandoned her interview appointment. She has to start over, refile, pay all the fees again, wait another 2 years. All because she didn't understand one critical fact. USCIS is not funded by Congress. Let me say that again because this is the legal shield that protects you. USCIS operates on fee funding. The money you paid for your application, that's what pays USCIS salaries. Not taxpayer money, not Congress. When DHS shuts down tomorrow at midnight, immigration enforcement might slow down. ICE might send people home. Border Patrol might have delays, but USCIS, the agency that processes your green card, your work permit, your citizenship, they keep running 100% business as usual. Every desk, every officer, every interview room open. Now, let me give you the law that protects you. The knowledge you need to understand why this works the way it does. The legal principal fee-funded agency status. In 2001, after the September 11th attacks, Congress reorganized immigration services. They created USCIS as a separate agency inside DHS. But here's the key decision they made. They decided USCIS would fund itself through application fees. When you pay $140 of tolerance for a green card application, or $70 for citizenship, or $410 for a work permit, that money doesn't go into the general federal budget. It goes into something called the Immigration Examinations Fee Account. This is USCIS's own bank account. By law, this money can only be used to process immigration applications. Congress can't touch it. The president can't redirect it. Even during a government shutdown, this account keeps working. There's a legal term for this: mandatory spending versus discretionary spending. Discretionary spending is when Congress has to approve money every year. If they don't approve it, the agency shuts down. Mandatory spending is automatic. It happens whether Congress does anything or not. Social Security mandatory, Medicare mandatory, USCIS mandatory. Now, here's the fine print you need to know. About 96% of USCIS operations are fee-funded. That means 96% of everything they do, interviews, processing, approvals, biometrics, continues no matter what. The remaining 4%, that's a small program called Everify, the system employers use to check if you can legally work, and a few refugee processing functions. If those programs slow down during a shutdown, they don't affect your green card. They don't affect your work permit. They don't affect your citizenship. Here's the official statement from USCIS themselves. In every previous government shutdown, and there have been several, USCIS has issued the same message. USCIS will remain operational during a lapse in appropriations. Application and petition processing will continue. They said it in 2018, they said it in 2019, and they're saying it again right now for this February 2026 shutdown. But here's where the trap deepens. Even though USCIS stays open, some related services might change. E-Verify might go down. If you're starting a new job and your employer needs to verify your work authorization, there might be delays, but this doesn't affect your pending applications. USCIS Contact Center might have longer wait times. The 1-800 number might be slower because some support staff might be furloughed, but case processing continues. Immigration court is different. Immigration courts are part of the Department of Justice, not USCIS. If there's a broader shutdown beyond just DHS, immigration courts might postpone hearings, but that's separate from USCIS applications. The key takeaway: your USCIS case processing will not stop. Your interview will not be canceled. Your approval will not be delayed. Now, while we're talking about immigration and this shutdown, let me give you one piece of excellent news that just happened. On February 6, 2026, DHS announced they're adding 64,016 additional H-2B visas for this fiscal year. What does this mean? If you work in seasonal industries, landscaping, hospitality, seafood processing, ski resorts, and your employer is trying to bring you in on an H-2B visa, there are now more visas available. This is huge because the regular H-2B cap is 66,000 per year, and it usually runs out within weeks. The additional visas are split. $44,316 for workers returning to the U.S. who had H-2B status in one of the last 3 fiscal years. $20,000 for workers from specific countries: Haiti, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Ecuador, and others. Why am I mentioning this during a shutdown video? Because this shows you something important. Even while Congress is fighting about DHS funding, even while we're 48 hours from a shutdown, the Department of Homeland Security is still making major immigration policy decisions. They're still processing visas. They're still expanding programs. The machinery keeps running. This is proof that immigration doesn't stop when politicians fight. All right, now let me give you your exact action plan. What you should do, what you should not do, and how to protect your case during this shutdown period. Step 1. Do not cancel or reschedule your appointments. If you have any USCIS appointment scheduled for February 14th or later, biometrics appointment, green card interview, citizenship interview, asylum interview, InfoPass appointment, go to it. Do not call to reschedule. Do not assume it's canceled. Do not listen to rumors on Facebook. Your appointment is happening unless USCIS directly contacts you in writing to reschedule. What to say if someone tells you to reschedule? I checked the official USCIS website. They confirmed they remain operational during funding gaps. Unless I receive written notice from USCIS, my appointment stands. Step 2. Check your case status online, not by phone. The USCIS Contact Center 1-800-375-55283 might have longer wait times during the shutdown because some customer service staff could be furloughed. Instead, log into your USCIS online account at myioscis.gov. Check your case status using your receipt number at ego.das.gov case status. Sign up for case status updates via text or email. These online systems run automatically. They don't need staff to update them. Step 3. Know what might actually be delayed. Only 2 things might be delayed. Everify. If you just got a job and your employer needs to verify your work authorization through Everify, that system might go down. What to do? Tell your employer about the shutdown. By law, they must give you extra time to resolve Everify issues during a government shutdown. They cannot fire you or refuse to hire you because of a shutdown delay. Non-urgent USCIS services, things like genealogy requests, historical record searches, or very specialized services might pause. These don't affect standard applications. Your green card processing, your work permit processing, your citizenship processing. Step 4. Protect yourself from scams. This is critical. During every government shutdown, scammers come out like sharks smelling blood. You'll see social media posts saying, "Pay us $500 and we'll expedite your case before the shutdown." The shutdown means you need to refile. We can help. USCIS is canceling all pending applications. All lies. Here's your protection script. Memorize this, the 3 verification rules. Official information only comes from us.gov. Not Facebook, not WhatsApp, not immigration forums. USCIS will never ask you to pay money via phone or email. All fees go through official forms and the USCIS payment portal. If someone claims to have inside information about the shutdown affecting cases, they're lying. USCIS announces policy changes publicly. Step 5. Document everything during this shutdown period. However long it lasts, could be days, could be weeks. Protect yourself. Screenshot your online case status daily. Save any emails or texts from USCIS. If you go to an appointment, take a photo of the USCIS office being open. Keep copies of any notices you receive. Why? Because if there are any weird delays or issues with your case later, you have proof that USCIS was open and operating. Step 6. Understand the timeline. This shutdown might last 2 days, it might last 2 weeks, but here's what's important. Even during the longest government shutdown in history, 35 days in 2018-2019, USCIS remained open. Application processing times didn't change. Interview schedules weren't canceled. The only people affected were the small number of USCIS employees who work on the 4% of programs funded by Congress, mostly E-Verify and Refugee support. So, your timeline, February 13th, 2026, 11:59 p.m. DHS funding expires February 14th, 2026, 1:21 a.m. Shutdown begins. Your USCIS case continues processing normally. Your interview happens as scheduled. Your approval comes through on normal timeline. Step 7. Special situations. If you're traveling internationally during the shutdown, CBP, Customs and Border Protection, is considered essential personnel. Agents will still be working at airports and borders. Your visa will still be checked when you re-enter, but be aware some CBP services, like Global Entry Enrollment, might be delayed. If you need an emergency advanced parole or travel document, USCIS will still process emergency requests. You may need to visit a field office in person. Bring proof of your emergency, medical records, death certificate, etc. If you're waiting for a work permit and your current one expires during the shutdown, if you filed your renewal before your current work permit expired, you automatically get a 180-day extension. This is called automatic extension. It's in the regulations. Your employer cannot fire you during this automatic extension period. Even if USCIS is slow to mail your new card, you're legally authorized to work. Now, let me zoom out and explain why this matters beyond just this one shutdown. The reason I'm making this video isn't just to calm your nerves about Valentine's Day 2026, is to teach you how to think about immigration and government shutdowns in general. Here's the principle. Immigration is not like other government services. When the government shuts down, national parks close. NASA stops non-essential work. The IRS stops answering phones. But immigration is considered essential to national security. Think about it. The government cannot just stop processing visas. They cannot stop checking who's entering the country. They cannot stop running the system that determines who gets to stay and who has to leave. Even during a shutdown, immigration enforcement continues. ICE keeps operating, though agents might not get paid on time. Border Patrol keeps working, and USCIS keeps processing applications because that's how they fund themselves. The real lesson? You cannot let political chaos in Washington, D.C. control your immigration case. Politicians will fight. They'll shut down the government. They'll point fingers. But your job is to keep your case moving forward. Show up to your appointments. Submit your documents on time. Follow the rules. Check official sources for information. Because here's what I've learned helping thousands of immigrants. The people who succeed in the immigration system are the ones who stay calm, stay informed, and stay focused on their own case. Not the people who panic every time Congress has a fight. Not the people who believe rumors on social media. Not the people who give up because the news looks scary. But I need to give you one serious warning before we finish. While USCIS stays open during this shutdown, there's one part of DHS that might change how it operates. ICE, Immigration, and Customs Enforcement. During a shutdown, ICE agents are considered essential personnel. They keep working. But here's what changes. Some ICE operations might scale back. Interior enforcement, arrests away from the border, might slow down because there's less funding for transportation, detention space, and support staff. But, and this is important, ICE can still arrest people. ICE can still detain people. ICE can still deport people. If you have a deportation order, a final removal order, or you're undocumented, a government shutdown does not protect you. In fact, some people make a deadly mistake. They think government shutdown means ICE won't come for me. Wrong. ICE enforcement is unpredictable during shutdowns. Sometimes it slows down. Sometimes it increases because agents want to show they're essential your protection. If you have any immigration case pending, asylum, green card, work permit, make absolutely sure you attend all court hearings, even during a shutdown. Respond to all USCIS requests for evidence. Keep your address updated with USCIS and Immigration Court. Don't miss deadlines thinking the government is shut down, so deadlines don't count. Deadlines still count. Courts still operate. Judges still issue orders. Let me bring this home. Tomorrow at midnight, the Department of Homeland Security might shut down because politicians in Washington can't agree on body cameras for ICE agents and accountability measures after what happened in Minnesota. That's their problem. Your problem is protecting your immigration case. And now you know USCIS will not shut down. Your case will keep processing. Your interview will happen. The people who get hurt during shutdowns are the ones who panic and make mistakes. The person who cancels their interview and gets denied for failure to appear. The person who believes a scammer who says, "Pay me to save your case." The person who stops checking their case status and misses an important notice. The person who travels internationally without checking if their travel document is still valid. Don't be that person. Here's what makes you smart. Not a criminal. Smart. Knowing that USCIS is fee-funded and stays open during shutdowns. Knowing that your appointment stands unless USCIS contacts you in writing. Knowing that E-Verify might pause, but your green card application won't. Knowing the difference between USCIS applications and ICE enforcement. Knowing where to get official information was .gov, not Facebook groups. This knowledge is your legal shield, and it's the same shield that protects you during every government crisis, every political fight, every shutdown threat. The immigration system is complicated and often unfair, but it has rules. And when you know the rules, you can protect yourself. Before you go, save this video. Share it with your family. Send it to anyone you know who has a USCIS case pending. Because 24 hours from now, when the news is screaming government shutdown and people are panicking, you're going to be the calm voice in your family who says, I watched a video. USCIS stays open. We're going to be fine. Here's what we need to do. That's the power of knowledge. If this video helped you, hit subscribe. I make videos like this every week to protect immigrants from mistakes that could cost them everything. Drop a comment below. Tell me what your immigration case status is right now. Are you waiting for an interview, a green card, citizenship? Let me know so I can make more videos that help you. And remember, knowing your rights doesn't make you difficult. It makes you informed. The government might shut down tomorrow, but your future, that's still in your hands. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next.